Hello everyone, welcome back to Mac Movie Review, the part of the show where we rank all of the Miyazaki films. Hayao Miyazaki is the heart and soul of the biggest anime studio, Studio Ghibli, making masterpieces and ultra famous anime movies like Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke, and absolutely, of course, and we're gonna get to this in a second, My Neighbor Totoro. His films are magical, and he has made 11 films, 10 with Studio Ghibli. One is its own offshoot, its own thing, and I'm excited to talk about that one because it's kind of under the radar. His very first full-length film was actually not with Studio Ghibli, and it's quite good. We'll get into that. But let's just hop right into the video. I'm going to try not to let this be too long, but, there's going to be a lot to say about all of these movies. I'm just going to, not say a lot if I can help it. The worst Studio Ghibli movie is Ponyo. Ponyo likes ham, and I hate Ponyo. We're moving on to number 10. Hot take here. My number 10 is My Neighbor Totoro. And people love this movie. There are people who say it's the best Ghibli movie. I've looked at a lot of lists. Every time I watch a Ghibli movie, I basically look up a Ghibli movies ranked list. And this one always ranks really high. And I don't care about it at all. It just doesn't affect me at all on a personal level. And I know it hits a lot of people on a personal level. It reminds people of their childhood. People say it captures childhood in the most beautiful, amazing way. But I think their other future films actually capture childhood better in a different way, even though it's not the explicit focus of these other movies. And this is the explicit focus of this is a movie that's kind of from the perspective of a child, captures that imagination, that mystery. I think it's a really great movie, an extremely pleasant movie. That's the best word I can describe. It's just a very comforting, pleasant movie, but it doesn't have a real sense of urgency from a plot perspective, and it kind of weighs it down for me, and it just doesn't do a lot for me personally. My number 9 is The Wind Rises, and The Wind Rises is this low on the list because I feel like The Wind Rises is missing something. And what it's missing is that sense of magic. There's two main directors for Studio Ghibli. It's Hayao Miyazaki and the other guy. The other guy, I can't say his name is hard to pronounce. The other guy made the movies Grave of the Fireflies and The Tale of Princess Kaguya and My Neighbors the Yadamas and Only Yesterday, all the, Grave of the Fireflies, some of the lesser known Ghibli movies. And his films have this sense of realism to them. All of his films have this feeling that they're kind of realistic. And Miyazaki has always been leaning towards the magical side of things. And here it almost feels like it was made by the other Studio Ghibli director. I think his name is Izo or something. But it's a great movie. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't hit as hard as the other Ghibli movies, in my opinion. Kiki's Delivery Service is my number 8, and I think it's a really great movie. This is a really great movie. And you know what? So is My Neighbor Totoro, and so is Wind Rises. But My Neighbor Totoro is a movie that I appreciate more and more, like a movie that we'll talk about later on this list. It's a film that I appreciate more and more the more I think about it, because it's a coming-of-age tale that is very subtle. It's a very, very subtle coming-of-age movie, and there's a lot of different things going on in the plot. There's a lot of different plot points, and they all work together and advance this development of this young girl, and a lot of it in very subtle ways, in ways that you don't immediately notice. And it's just a film that I've appreciated more and more the more I think about it. But once again, the reason, for all the ones lower on this list is just personal preference, and this one, on a personal level, it's like there's not much I can latch onto or relate to, or it's just on a personal level. It doesn't do a whole lot for me, but I really, really appreciate this movie. I think it's a great movie. Howl's Moving Castle, my number 7, is the most overrated Ghibli movie. This one is frequently in the conversation for the best Ghibli movies. I rarely see it placed at number 1, but on everybody's lists of the greatest movies of all time and stuff like the IMDb and everywhere, everybody's just always talking about and praising Howl's Moving Castle like it's the next best thing to Spirited Away. And really what this film feels like to me, as someone who's watched Spirited Away many times, it feels very similar to Spirited Away. It's almost the same vibe, what I can say about this is it really does have a very true and real and powerful sense of magic. And also, the supporting cast, the side characters are the best of any Ghibli movie. They're wonderful. Calcifer, the demon, and the scarecrow guy, and Howl. I mean, it's the best. The witch. I mean, this is the best side characters of any Ghibli movie. They're so much fun, and it's a really awesome, great movie. But to me, it's overrated. Unlike my number 6, which I believe is the most underrated Miyazaki film. It's Lupin the Third, Castle of Castiglio, or however you say that. It feels like a Scooby-Doo movie. It's so insanely light. It doesn't feel like any of the Studio Ghibli movies. It's such a unique film that it legitimately feels like old Saturday morning cartoons. It has that vibe. It looks like an episode of Scooby-Doo. It feels like an episode of Scooby-Doo. But it is legitimately the most fun Miyazaki film. I was going to say Ghibli film. It's not a Ghibli film. This is the one non-Ghibli Miyazaki film. And it's a blast. It's so much fun. Lupin is my favorite Miyazaki protagonist. He's so much fun. He's awesome. I'm totally rooting for him, especially at the end. Like, the movie was like a 7 for me. And then right at the end, I was like, this is an 8 out of 10 because I love Lupin so much. And, you know, since then, it's obviously gone up in my mind. I think this is just a blast of a film and totally one that you should definitely check out. I watched it on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on Netflix. If it is, please watch it. It's awesome. We've entered the top 5. We're in top 5 territory with Porco Rosso. Porco Rosso is an awesome movie, and it's the same effect. The effect that hit me with this film is the same one that hit me with Kikis Delivery Service, where I really, really liked it after the credits rolled. I really appreciated it days, hours, and then days after I watched it. I just kept thinking about it, and it's one of those films that just, you just greatly appreciate, even if you don't super appreciate it while you're watching it. It's a legitimately very fun and funny movie, but it's also one of the most profound. It is one of the most profound Miyazaki films and one of the most meaningful, and it has my favorite scene in any Miyazaki film, maybe in any Ghibli film. My all-time favorite scene is in this movie. I'll just say planes. I'm not going to spoil the scene. Planes. When you see that, that's my favorite scene, and you know what I'm talking about probably. It's a wonderful movie, and it's a great movie. My number 4, Castle in the Sky, feels like a Disney movie. This is the most Disney movie feeling anime movie I've probably ever watched, and that's not a bad thing. It legitimately has this sense of childlike wonder and this sense of childlike magic. It feels like a fairy tale, but a movie, but like the most finely crafted, entertaining, wholesome, wonderful fairy tale ever. Like, it's awesome. This is an awesome movie, and I don't even want to, I don't want the video to be long, so I'm going to stop talking about it. I don't have much to say other than that. It's a wonderful, magical fairy tale. Please watch it. Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind is my 3rd favorite Miyazaki film. It's really just like Princess Mononoke. It's so much, I'm going to say this, and this is a really awful way to summarize the film, but this is how I summarize it. It's Princess Mononoke, but worse. And when I say worse, I mean slightly worse. I mean, this is an amazing movie. It's one of the darkest and most adult. It is behind Princess Mononoke. It's the most adult and serious and mature Ghibli movie with the same themes of environmental destruction and war and hatred and violence and all of those things. And, well, I said, yeah. It's a wonderful film. The protagonist is amazing. Nausicaa, the main girl, is so good. The dub in this, the English dub is actually very good. It has Shia LaBeouf, so watch the English dub. Princess Mononoke is it's a magical movie. It hits very, very hard. This movie gave me depression the first time I watched it. It didn't have that effect at all the second time. Maybe I was just in a bad place mentally when I watched it the first time, but I remember feeling really depressed after I watched it the first time. And I thought it was because of the movie, and maybe the movie just amplified feelings that I already had. But Princess Mononoke, it's an epic film. It's once again, it sort of feels like a fairy tale, but a very adult and serious fairy tale with a very modern, very hard hitting messages and environment. It's like an environmental movie, and it's pretty awesome. It's an awesome movie. Go watch it. I don't know what you're doing if you haven't watched it yet. Get HBO Max and watch it. Get a VPN. My number one is Spirited Away. Don't act like you're surprised. Spirited Away is not only the best Miyazaki film, it's my favorite Ghibli film. It's my favorite film from the studio. It won the Oscar for Best Animated Film. It's like the most famous, it is the most famous anime movie ever made. I think that's fair to say. It's the most famous Studio Ghibli movie. And a lot of people have seen this and they haven't seen other Ghibli movies, which I think is a mistake. Go watch the other ones if you've only seen Spirited Away. But it's awesome. I don't have a lot to say about it. I've seen it many, many times, and I appreciate it. That's what I'll say about this. If you've watched this before, watch it again, and then watch it again after that, because I have appreciated stuff and noticed stuff about the plot and things that I have not, and subtle things that I've never picked up on until like the 6th watch or the 5th watch. So watch it again, and then watch it again. That's all I gotta say. And that's it for my Miyazaki films ranked. What's your favorite Miyazaki film? What's your least favorite Miyazaki film? What's your favorite non-Miyazaki Ghibli movie? Because there are Ghibli movies that are not made by Miyazaki that people like. I'm thinking movies like When Marnie Was There, if that's how you say that. I don't know if that's how you say the name. There's, you know, all of the Izuho movies, like Grave of the Fireflies and Tale of Princess Kaguya. There's, like, Red Turtle. That's technically a Ghibli movie. There are other Ghibli movies. There's, Whisper of the Heart is a big fan favorite, and that's not by either of those two directors. It's like a one-off. It's by one guy it's a Ghibli movie, but I don't think he made any other movies. I think Whisper of the Heart is his only film. I don't know the director's name. Anyway, let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day.